Why are there so many illnesses among Jehovah's Witnesses? That's a good question, isn't it? Why are there so many illnesses among Jehovah's Witnesses? The group of people that we call Jehovah's Witnesses is only a very small number of people if we compare 8 million versus almost 8 billion. And as individuals, we know even a smaller group of those people. And almost every Jehovah's Witnesses would agree with me that we know a whole lot of people who have some type of illness, some type of discomfort with their body. For example, I was inspired to do this video because I briefly, last week, I was watching a video from another ex-JW, and she briefly mentioned how many witnesses she knew that had, for example, fibromyalgia. And that reminded me right away how many witnesses I knew with endometriosis. My own sister-in-law had surgery for that disease before she was 35. I knew of another sister who was diagnosed with the disease, with endometriosis, before she was 30. And I knew of other witnesses who knew other witnesses, women in this case, since it's a woman disease, who had that same issue, endometriosis illness disease. So why do we know so many ill witnesses? And I could go on and on and on, by the way. I also want to mention before I go on, I knew of a very nice Jehovah's Witness, very nice sister, but she was riddled with illnesses, one of which was affecting her whole body, all of the muscles of her body. She was pretty much in pain all the time. And one of her illnesses was psychological. She had panic attacks. I knew of another witness who said herself that when she turned 30, her body started breaking down. And I remember telling her, you know, that's not normal to have your body start breaking down at age 30. You know, when you think of an athlete, a sport athlete who still practice their sport at age 30, and you're not even, you know, putting your body to such a level of action, and your body starting to break down already at age 30, that's not normal. But all this to tell you that witnesses are ill. By the way, also want to mention my own mother, who became one of Jehovah's Witnesses later in life. She was, 60 years old when she got baptized, and started to have a lot of colds, like 2 to 3 colds every year. That was way too much for someone who rarely had any cold throughout her whole life. And even another Jehovah's Witness friend of my mother, I remember, told my mother that for her to have so many colds back to back, it might be some psychological problems. Interestingly, is that she didn't even think that the problem was the very religion they were both in, but she actually thought about that, which was very smart. Maybe she had some psychological studies, I don't know, but it was very smart. The only problem is back then I wasn't in the psychologically speaking field. I was not a life coach back then, and my mother didn't know any better, even though she thought it was a smart thought, and she kind of agreed with it, but also, didn't think that it was related to the religion we were all in. So, why diseases, why illnesses is so frequent among Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, first of all, let me tell you that, in case you don't know, that everything in this universe is energy. The very earth that we live in is energy. The sun is energy. The moon is energy. The whole universe is energy. That's why The very floor you're stepping on, the ground you're stepping on is energy. The chair you're sitting on right now is energy. Your own body, the body of your pet, is energy. The radio waves that allows you to connect to a radio channel and listen to, that's energy. The sounds that you can or cannot hear is energy. Everything, whether you know it or not, whether we have discovered it in this universe or not, everything that exists, whether we're aware of it or not, that's what I want to say, is energy. And of course, our thoughts are energy. So whatever thoughts is going on through our mind is going to basically come down throughout our body and affect every single cell of our body. So what happens is when the tolerance of toxicity is reached, that's when our body is going to start showing symptoms. Okay? That's when diseases are created. By the way, there are some coaches like me that believe that every single illness, every single disease that one may develop, from a cold to a cancer, is developed through the thought process, whether it's a conscious thought or a subconscious thought, meaning a thought that you're not aware of. And I truly believe that myself, that when the mind is affected to the point that it's going to start to accumulate in low energy, which us coach call low vibration, that low vibration, that low vibrational energy is going to affect the cells of your body. Now, you may or may not get sick, but a cell that is affected, a body, the whole body that is affected by low energy, it's going to have more chance, we'll say, to develop into disease, because it's the perfect environment to start developing toxins, bacteria, viruses, and so forth and so on. So now, why do I say that the teaching of Jehovah's Witnesses has anything to do with creating such a bad environment for health and good environment for disease? Which, by the way, a disease is a dis-ease of the body, meaning lack of ease, which develop into a disease and illness. Now think about the teaching of Jehovah's Witnesses. It creates a lot of negative thinking. You know, just think about even if you feel that you are safe when Armageddon comes, but think about how you're going to feel seeing all those people being destroyed around you. I remember, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, that feeling did not feel good at all. Sometimes I did not even know if I really wanted to be alive when Armageddon came, because it was not something that I was looking forward. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I wasn't the only one. Many witnesses feel that way. So there is a lot of negative thinking going on through the mind of the average Jehovah's Witness. Now think about the fear factor. Fear factor is all omnipresent among Jehovah's Witnesses. Very unhealthy, brings about a lot of low vibration, low energy into the body. The cognitive dissonance, of course, brings also a very low vibration, very negative energy into the body. The sexual frustration and other frustrations that the average Jehovah's Witness is going through, is going to bring about a lot of negative energy, low vibration. Lack of freedom of thoughts, lack of freedom of action, and also even the shunning. You know, the shunning does not only affect me and all the other people that make videos against Jehovah's Witnesses. The shunning affects my very brother right now. The shunning affects the people who have to do the shunning. Because unless they can really take the brain out of their head, they still have some feelings, even though those feelings are muffled by the culture of the cult, by the brainwashing of the cult, but they still do have some type of feeling, otherwise they'll be either dead or completely dysfunctional people. So they still have that piece of brain that is left that has to have some feelings still for the person that they are shunning. And whether they are aware of it or not, it does affect them. So when you put all that together, you know, the negative thinking, the fear factor, the frustration, the anguish that the typical Jehovah's Witness going through day in and day out is bringing about a lot of low vibration, negative energy in their body. And that low energy, that low vibration that's going through their body is bound to develop into some type of illnesses. Because it's like the perfect environment, the perfect soil to develop those viruses, you know, those toxins, those bacteria to develop into diseases. So, I hope this helped you if you are one of Jehovah's Witnesses, or if you know some Jehovah's Witnesses and you're already out of this organization, or if you are just not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but you know, maybe clicked on this video to understand better this cult and many other cults that have the same effects, by the way. That is why there are so many illnesses among Jehovah's Witnesses. If you like the video, please show it, like it, comment, share it, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.